Wow.
She said not tonight.
I'll turn it in. It is a dive.
There's nothing there.
No, and the stuff that is there isn't even open.
There's a couple.
Big.
It was so much. I like, I walked down to,
Hi, can you guys hear me?
yes. I walked down to Claire's to get a
Hey.
set of cream, so I had some lunch sugar. Cause I did, I tried to get some of the ones here. And they were closed. The lady was just standing there. I'm like, what's going on? Okay. They took forever.
Is it there?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was nothing. I'll give it one more shot here.
Maybe you didn't have cell phone coverage.
I
There's a place in Tennessee that now.
Right, probably down in the sticks.
okay.
James, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, I think we're having trouble getting Dick on the phone, so we're gonna go another route with that.
Okay.
Dustin said thank you.
Who you having?
I have James on the phone.
Oh,
I sent him an email.
no, thanks.
He said that's awesome.
Hello?
Hello, this is Ash.
Yeah,
Okay,
on the connection, huh?
yes.
Okay. I'll put myself on mute and just listen to the meeting, and at the end of the meeting, I want to say a few things.
Okay,
I know we don't have a public forum. Okay. Thanks, guys.
you're welcome. Okay, go ahead. Stuart.
We'll call the meeting to order. Stuart City Council special meeting, tentative agenda, Monday, March 27th, 6 o'clock PM. Council chambers, call to order. Cabo.
Here.
Renslow.
Here.
Billy. Here. Morgan.
Here.
And myself, Kirkpatrick. And we have the mayor on the phone. Number 2, agenda approval.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Renslow,
Second.
second by Cabo. How do you vote? Cabo?
Yes.
Renslow?
Yes.
Dolly? Yes. Morgan?
Yes.
And Kirkpatrick? Yes. Number 3, ratifying action urban renewal plan amendment, resolution number 23-13C, resolution ratifying addition of projects to proposed urban renewal plan amendment.
Last month, we talked about adding the project to include, adding 2 projects to the urban renewal plan that we're gonna amend. And we added the curb and the one and Clyde to the urban renewal plan. So we did the ratification. If we pass the resolution, things will be moving the way it should from last week. So okay with the council, need a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Moved by Dolly, second by Renslow. How do you vote? Cabo?
Yes.
Renslow?
Yes.
Dolly? Yes. Morgan?
Yes.
Kirkpatrick? Yes. Number 4. Let's see.
Can do the hearing, can do the A, B, and C.
Put those all together.
Right, yes.
Okay. So, annual, sorry, I don't have my glasses.
Appropriation.
I can read the public hearing on proposal to enter into an essential purpose loan agreement. B, public hearing on proposal into a general purpose loan agreement, number 1. Number C is public hearing on proposal to enter into a general purpose loan agreement, number 2.
Thank you. Public, does anybody have any Any comments?
No,
So we'll go ahead and close that. Ash, did you receive anything?
no,
Go ahead and close that. Need a motion?
D. Number
Oh,
D.
D, I'm sorry. Yep.
Resolution 2314C, resolution taking additional action on proposal to enter into general obligation loan agreement, combining loan agreements and authorizing the use of preliminary official statement in there was, Chip, you want to make,
Sure, just the resolution approves the official statement, offering document that would go out to bond investors. You have a draft copy at your seats. Any additional comments on this, please let Ash and Sarah know. We'll make sure that adjustments are made. The additional action gives the city the authority to proceed after holding the public hearings. And it's just kind of the next step in the sequence of the financing. You have the timeline that was provided in the May 8th material. And then the last, if you proceed tonight, the last requested council action will be your regular June meeting, which I think is June 12th, the second Monday in June. So happy to answer any questions with that.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Moved by Renzo, second by Cobble. How do you vote? Cobble?
Yes.
Renzo?
Yes.
Dolly?
Yes.
Yes.
Kirkpatrick? Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Chip.
Chip.
Thank you, Chip.
Number 5, safe routes to school.
Bill of pay application number 1, $2,347.40 to Culver Concrete.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did we get this issue with them not putting something underneath the concrete figured out?
Jim? For
That's what I'm here for.
So if you weren't aware, apparently they were going to lay cement on dirt, right? Did I understand that right? That's how it was bid out?
Yes. So that's a change order number 1, has really nothing to do with the pay estimate.
Right.
Change order number 1 is deals with that. So the pay estimate is just for mobilization costs, and it's actually, a lot of it is just so we start getting reimbursements from the DOT and start that paperwork going.
So when were we gonna see the change order and how much it's gonna cost us to change that?
So change order number 1, which is item number B under that, that's what that change order number 1 is regarding.
So our agenda doesn't have a B.
We don't have the change order on here because we didn't have any documentation to go with it. We
Oh.
just have the pay application.
Oh, okay, I was looking at the agenda Nadine sent out, sorry.
No, hold on, because this was a rough draft. Let me get you all a fresh agenda. It is the one that was sent out B.
Oh, hey, no, Sarah, you're right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, I guess this isn't it. I'm sorry.
I'll be right back.
There isn't one on this one, so.
Okay, I apologize, I was,
I think you're more shocked. I can be.
I think there's an A and a B, so A was just the pay estimate, and B was discussion under the
Yes.
sidewalk and driveway.
Go ahead and continue while she's making.
Okay, so the rock, there's, I haven't had talked to Jim about this, so we may have an open discussion here, which is fine. So there's 2 things with rock under sidewalks and driveways. One is a lot of contractors will, I mean, this is skid loader type work. They'll put the skid loader, get the dirt pretty darn close to where it is, and then they'll put in a leveling course of some sort of sand or granular material, do a leveling course, and then pour their sidewalk or driveway kind of on that leveling course. It's a benefit to the contractor because that sand than concrete, provides a uniform thickness. And so you see a lot of contractors doing that. SUDAS does not require that there be a structural granular material under there. So when we say structural, we're meaning 4 inches of sidewalk of concrete, 4 inches of granular subbase or under a driveway, 6 inches of granular subbase, and then 6 inches of concrete. Now, we can sure do that, but we didn't bid it that way to have 6 inches of rock under the drive or 4 inches of rock under the sidewalk. We bid it as, put it on natural subgrade, and the contractor can use a leveling course if they want to. So that's how it was bid. That's how most sidewalks in Iowa are constructed, but, with that leveling course sometimes, but not this much rock. Now, if we wanted to add that, we can. We do not have a price back from the contractor yet. That's why it's not an agenda, or maybe it's why it wasn't an agenda item. If we want to do that, the cost to do it under the driveways and the sidewalks is going to be somewhere around $25,000 to $35,000.
Wow.
Is kind of the price to do that. Now, we don't have a price from the contractor yet, but that's kind of,
Were all the bids without it?
yes,
They all were. So
yes. It
We
was
were
not
still comparing
required.
apples to apples.
Yes, it was.
That's how the specs were written.
Yes. Yeah, so,
I'm just making sure there wasn't,
yeah,
number 2 was
Right.
including that.
no, that's,
Does putting rock under, so I know nothing about sidewalks,
Yeah.
pretend I don't know because I don't. Does putting rock underneath something like that, does that extend the lifespan?
yes,
That's
yes,
perfect.
it very much
Yeah.
will extend the lifespan of that. That's why we're doing rock underneath all the streets out in Wambold and putting new subdrains, the new ones, the new streets.
That's
Because it extends the life of the pavement. But, again, this is getting more traffic on the drives and foot traffic on the sidewalk. It's not a recreational trail, it's a sidewalk. So normally it's not gone to that expense to do that thick of a rock layer under sidewalks, but we can sure do it. And I was not aware that Stuart requires 4 inches of rock under every.
We don't pour concrete on dirt on anything.
I know, but usually there's maybe a leveling course, but not. And if,
Even Scott Concrete pours 4 inches of rock underneath the sidewalk.
yeah.
Corey, do you have anything on, like, you kind of know a little more about this than I do?
We don't, like, as far as where I work, we don't do sidewalks and driveways, obviously, but we always
You've come,
do
you concrete.
aggregates, out on the interstate or whatnot, we do.
You
Put
normally
aggregates,
put rock underneath.
Yeah, we put aggregates down, but,
Definitely
Oh,
for
Corey.
that truck traffic,
Yeah.
of course, that's.
Yeah.
So if we had heavier equipment running on the sidewalk, we definitely would want the rock underneath there. Is there any other towns like in our scope that you know of that does rock? Or like you said, is it mostly? Sure there are,
But
but
I'm sure there are, but, the Des Moines Metro puts it on skim, a skim coat or a leveling coat, of course, but, and SUDAS, which when I say SUDAS, I'm saying the statewide urban design and specifications. That, Stewart's not adopted those, so that's just another reference out there. Don't require it, but it does make it last longer, it will hold up better. It is structural, just like on the roads. It's just $30,000 is a lot of money to add to a sidewalk, but, and if begin with, the bids would have been higher reflecting that.
I just look at it from my point of view, this is a DOT project, there is no maintenance bond on this. I'm looking at the longevity of this sidewalk because it's gonna be dumped onto the property owners as their responsibility to maintain.
And I can tell you that the part that I own, because it's going in front of my property, that'll be cleaned with a skid loader in wintertime. I will have a skid loader on it.
It'll be broken within the first year.
Yes, it will.
It will not be broken within the first year, Matt.
Well, I think with the
Yes, it
skid
will be.
loader, if he's using the skid loader, it's gonna break within the first year.
4 inches of concrete.
So
so what's our solution here?
difference.
well, we don't know a price yet.
You don't know a price yet, so there's no action tonight.
And to think of, you have water main that just went through there that's gonna settle.
That's my concern too. They bored water main all the way down that side of the street. They dug in, they've tapped everybody's services over. They did not do any compaction. They just pushed the dirt in the hole and mounted it up. And now they're gonna cross it with a sidewalk and that dirt's gonna settle. looking at long-term here. That's my goal in all this is the long-term life of that cement, whether it be a street or a sidewalk.
Isn't the water main on the south side, but they bored the services across?
Water mains on the north
So
side.
water mains on the north side.
Okay, but they bored that.
They
And
bored
then
it.
they cut it open for all the services.
Yes. But they overbored it because they pushed that pipe through, not pulled it through, and so that bore is gonna sink.
So when are they planning on starting work for us?
They're gonna do some earthwork here in the next couple of weeks, just, start moving some dirt around, but they're not looking to do any sidewalk work until the,
Final grade.
middle to end of June kind of thing. So,
Okay, so we'll have.
so
our
this,
next
you'll
meeting.
have this information for your next meeting.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for that. We need a motion on A, 5A. Approval of pay application.
I'll move to approve that.
I'll second it.
Moved by Rinson, second by Caldwell.
Okay, how do you vote? Cobble?
Yes.
Renzo?
Yes.
Billy? Yes. Morgan?
Yes.
Kirkpatrick? Yes.
Okay. We'll have more information.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Mark.
Mark.
Perfect, thank you. All right, number 6, TIF applications, Economic Development Director, Matt Funk. A, the cut 1 second, Dustin and Angie Caps. And B, Bonnie and Clyde Hideout LLC, David and Sheila Stone.
Can we go one by one?
You bet.
Okay, well, since we've ratified the urban renewal amendment, reached out to Dustin and Angie Caps and Stones regarding their TIF applications. Submitted both of those applications to the SEED organization group for review. SEED had replied back that 108 Northwest Second application, or TIF application, as incomplete, as it did not have any estimates or any kind of a project scope or any financial verification with that one. And so just incomplete at this time, so they weren't going to go further with reviewing that. And they had requested that any further applications going forward be complete applications before submitting to them.
You want me to go ahead?
So I can either, I'm done with that one at the moment, or I can go on with the next one.
Finish up with this one.
And then for 100 Northwest Second Street,
Hold on, let's just finish up the cup.
Can we finish the cut before we
Yeah.
move on? Okay, so they submitted their application, just the application, correct?
yes,
They did not submit general contractor information, funding information, or the project scoped and the bank approval letter, correct?
correct.
Now, I also saw that they were asking for 50% of their cost. And it's kind of been lately we've been going about 25% of the cost, correct? With
Yes,
everybody else.
yeah, generally, most of them have been about
Have
25%.
you discussed that with them,
With,
with the caps?
no, I haven't been able to.
Okay.
I did reach out to, I made an attempt to call today, and got a text back that he wasn't able to talk at the moment, so I just haven't been able to connect with him yet.
So as of right now, we're just letting this one go because they haven't done any of their paperwork, their documentation that they
Yes,
need to
so
submit,
it's just-
correct?
Yeah, I just can't proceed forward yet.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
So it's just kind of stuck. It's just waiting for more information.
So when a person fills this out, Matt, do you invite them into your office and sit down and help fill the TIF applications out, or is this pretty much the business owners?
No, I do converse with people, yeah, so I feel I've always had an open door policy, whether I've specifically mentioned to them to come in.
Sure.
I can't say for certain, but
There's a lot of email traffic that goes back and forth too. Like, I mean, he pretty much walks them through, because I remember seeing the email traffic on the clubbies. And, you know, they would submit some stuff and then Matt's like, well, I'm still missing ABC. And then they would get that to him. And so some of it's piecemeal as it goes through the process, but there's a lot of email traffic
Did
back and forth.
Did the CAPS do that with you? Did they go back and forth with you, or did they just ask you questions?
Yeah, no, yeah, I've told them I needed to get estimates and financial verification.
I was gonna say, these were clearly listed in the application.
On the application, it's on the,
But generally, I think it's pretty clear what they need, and, I mean, it's hard for you to have to hold their hand through the whole process when you've got a lot of them going through and you've got a lot of other things, so.
yeah, I mean, get these things going without.
I mean, I personally know that he has pushed for these three for the last, couple months. He's been trying to push to make sure we made deadlines and nothing has come in.
Okay.
So, okay.
So right now, it'd just be kind of in limbo right now.
Yeah,
Now, since we're past the deadlines, are they gonna have to wait until we,
no,
or
since,
what is the,
well, I would like to have had this one here included with the stones and the clippies. I'd like to have had all that processed at one time. That helps.
you mean?
By bond council.
Yeah,
Gone
to bond council,
okay.
yes, thank you.
Yep.
That helps to kind of stay on track with, it helps me with
Sure.
my time as well.
So I guess what I'm saying, since we're not able to do that, and we want to try to keep this, we don't want to keep sending stuff piecemeal to our bond attorney, are we going to wait again until we get, so under these rules, it says they have to be in by April 30th. I know it's there, but what are your plans? What do you think? Have you visited with Ash on this to say, when we have an application that's in the situation, if we ever have it, when will it go through?
You have until we certify in December.
Okay.
The main goal is to get those into the urban renewal plan, and we did that.
We did that, yeah.
So you have from now until, I would say, October at the most. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chet, to approve this. You have time. You can give them time to get the paperwork done and submitted, and you have from now until October. Once we approve it, we give it to the bond attorney and we do the paperwork, and then we certify in November and December.
I just think the thing is trying to cut down on the cost to the attorney, and instead of having.
So they are included now.
Right, that's
Okay,
why I pushed so hard at the last.
So just referring it to them for, the next step is not,
I would wait until Matt gets to converse with them, get his paperwork done, and then come to the council.
I'm just thinking from a cost perspective
from a cost,
to the attorney.
We did save the cost now, because we
did
got
save-
it in the urban renewal.
Okay,
It doesn't matter when we can, if we do it now, it's gonna cost us the same next month and the same months after. So there's no change of the cost.
okay.
So he can go back, visit with Dustin and go, if he wanna visit with Bonnie and Clyde, and then come back to the council in July, August, September. You have time, because I always say by October, if we can finalize it, that allow us to certify in November for December certification.
I'd like to have a deadline of
That's what.
September 30th. I don't wanna be having a special meeting trying to push this through in October. Like, if we don't have stuff submitted by September 30th, you're out of luck.
I'd have it just to be a little more cautious, to give you time. So the next step is approving that development agreement. So.
like
once the
August
road
30th?
plan, I'd say August.
So
Just a
August
little more
30th?
cautious.
Yeah.
We can just make a hard
And
deadline,
that's still
August
plenty of
30th.
time for folks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but time now, you have time for those two projects and any other project too, but
Why don't you say August 15th, if you want Seed's recommendation on it?
Okay,
'Cause
so,
otherwise, if you wait till August 30th, if you want Seed's recommendation, then Seed will have to have it.
so we
Okay,
can make it
so-
July,
so August 15th, Matt,
August.
hard deadline.
Hold
Put it in his calendar.
on. No, I gotta, because, okay, August 15th approximately is great, but I still need time to prepare sending that kind of stuff off. And so,
August first.
Either that
yes.
or July.
Okay,
July.
so 31st, the last day of July.
Yeah.
There you
we'll
go.
take that as-
July
Yeah.
31st.
Sorry, here,
There
June
you go.
30th.
Oh my
Well, okay.
So,
Matt, can you please relay to the caps?
yes.
June 31st is a hard deadline. If we do
So,
not have,
July.
July, see, you've got me. July 31st, they do not have their documentation to you by then, it is a no-go for this year.
So, yes, thank you.
Okay, that's,
So any other questions on?
no,
Did you have something, Mr. Dolan? No, I don't. Okay.
Not on that one.
Good.
you have the
Okay.
time now, Matt, to work on both.
Okay.
Hold on, we still have one more to go through.
Yes,
Yep.
So,
yes.
I would like to say that C does recommend the approval of 100 Northwest Second Historic First National Bank Building, AKA the Bonnie and Clyde Bank Robbery Building. Hopefully to be called the Bonnie and Clyde Hangout. This building is a historical landmark that brings tourism to the city of Stuart. And the project falls within the desired limitation of the 25% overall budgeted project cost to the budget cost ratio. So,
Are you ready for me on this one?
yes.
Yeah, I come up with all my questions in my head and then okay, so on this one, and since Sheila's here, a couple months ago, we asked Jason Van Alsdale to go over there and look at your building because it is deteriorating.
Right.
We were given the engineer report, but the report doesn't really say anything because it says that the stucco has to come off. The brick has to come off before they can even determine the structure.
The brick's not coming off.
The brick is not coming off.
No, I mean, that's the whole structure of the
Yeah.
building. It's 16 inches
Okay.
thick, and when the engineer came through and our brick masonry, we asked, is there any emergent issues with this building? Because at that time I had been told about an emergency catalyst grant. So if that's the case, then I could apply for that. And he said, I can't put that because there isn't any emergency issues with this building.
Which,
And then each and every masonry that I had come through said the same exact thing.
so when I read the engineer, I don't know if you guys read the engineer report, it was in our last packet.
I just give
To
you-
me, it read that he couldn't really determine until the stucco was off. That's the way I read it. And so Jason had I don't know this guy's name, your engineer guy. Did he?
The engineering was done.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but Jason had somebody else just come briefly look at it.
Jason came out.
Maybe it was just Jason. Jason contacted Jim and said that we need to put caution tape up. So for me, on this one, I want to see the TIF agreement go. I just think we need to keep caution tape up because it is, for me, it's a great building, but the safety of our citizens is more important to me. And every time I drive by that building, it seems like the stucco's peeling off a little more. So I think to get around this, I have heard that maybe we can get an engineer report ourselves. Am I understanding this
Yeah, the
correctly?
city could hire their own engineer and get their own structural engineer report.
And those run around 500,
I
maybe
paid
1,000?
$1,600 for mine.
Let me ask you, I know it says November, what is, why that time frame to start construction?
Because we're on a wait list. So we've been on the wait list, and he did buy 20 slots. So that is our newest, and then every 2 to 3 months, he updates us with the time, just to make sure that if it moves forward or backwards, that we're aware.
Okay. Can any of your people that you've talked to recommend anything in regard to stucco to get you through to that time to where it might be rendered a little bit, I know it's going to be, I'm going to say take it off. Prior to that, is there any kind of recommendation that they could make to?
I don't know, at a minimum, I would like to see the caution tape stay up.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, I think it's going to have to on that, because I just didn't know if there's anything that they could recommend to help alleviate that sooner than November.
I did have another, I talked to First Down Brewing Company in Winterset, and they had a brick mason that they used, but he came out and he said, 15 years ago, I would have tackled this, but, so he did take some pictures and is sending that to another brick masonry. I did let him know, if you can get in before November 6th, and I can see his work, then I would entertain that. Because obviously, the sooner we get it done, I'm not leaking funds, it's like, I pay for all utilities and property taxes and all those things, so.
So are
I
you
do
okay
want
with the
it
tape staying up?
I get a lot of, that I don't own the sidewalk. And on the email, it said, to put barricades. I was under the impression when, Matt came out there too, that it was just be on the northwest second side. But because we're limited on barricades and different equipment, then it was determined that they would put the yellow tape. So if there's not a better solution to that, or it doesn't feel like it's safe for everybody, then I'm accepting it. I don't know, I don't really, not objecting it, I should say.
There's been a couple phone calls to City Hall, or to, not City Hall, but city employees. So I just want to make sure that our employees aren't taking the brunt of our decisions up here and what we've asked our contractors to do. So I want to make sure that doesn't continue to happen, because it's not their fault that they're having to do that. It was something that I brought up 2 months ago. We all sat up here, discussed it with Jason, and we went from there just as a safety.
Right, I think that the yellow tape just alerts people to there's some new issue, there's some, thing they should want to be aware about,
I just don't want people walking around it and, if one little piece falls and it starts to then crumble and somebody gets hurt and.
Where does that fall back on? Us or the stones? I
think it's us, because it's the sidewalk. That's why I was so adamant about the tape.
Go ahead, Warren.
I haven't worked with the Catalyst grant, but I did work on Vision Iowa grants. And I think a statement from Jason about the danger to the public from the falling stucco, separate and apart from the engineering question of whether the building's gonna fall down or not, but the danger from the falling decorative pieces would be enough to qualify for emergency Catalyst grant. And I know Debbie Durham is.
I know, and so I thought, if you can
project.
say there's an emergent issue
I
here,
would
then.
suggest that the city maybe direct Jason
help him out a
to
little bit.
give her whatever statement.
Ash or Matt, I don't know who takes care of that. Can one of you call Jason and see if we can't get something done?
And my brick masonry did say, he said, if I have a grant or I have something with a time constraint, that he could push me up.
We can get hold of you.
Yeah, and see what we can do.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see anything happen to the building.
I was gonna
But I
say, we could get you all the money in the world, but if you have nobody to do the work, it's
Right.
a moot point, so.
Yeah, but
But I
sometimes more money means I can get to it sooner.
Faster, I know.
Yeah,
Money talks sometimes.
so yeah, I think that's a
So,
good
okay.
idea.
But as for the TIF agreement, for me, I'm okay with the way it was, and all the documents were submitted.
Need a motion.
It's essentially 25%, wasn't
Yes.
We need a motion.
I'll make that.
Moved by Cobble,
I'll second it.
seconded by Renshaw. How do you vote?
How do you vote? Cobble?
Yes.
Renslow?
Yes.
Dolly? Yes. Morgan?
Yes.
Kirkpatrick? Yes.
Thanks, Matt.
I will
Thanks,
say,
Matt.
what a nice job on the news media. You and your
that was
husband
nice.
did, that was phenomenal.
Thank you.
So,
It was
Only
nice
one
to have,
hour notice, so. I was
1 hour
like, okay,
notice?
Yeah.
Wow. That was,
yeah, it was nice to have a positive
yeah.
story.
Okay,
Yeah.
we practically done the mail.
I want to say one thing too.
Go ahead.
I would like to thank our police department and hope they continue to come out and sit on that racetrack road, because they're stopping at the stop sign again. And now that I live right there on the corner and have kids, I literally saw 5 people in a row, not even slow down, 35 miles an hour right down the road.
Oh, wow.
And he caught one of them, but he was just there a little late because he was doing something else. So thank you to them, and hopefully they'll continue to sit out there, because it does get dangerous.
Mayor Cook?
Okay, can you hear me, Ash?
Yes.
Okay, first of all, I want to inform the council that I loaned Avery Marks a water tank, and he's Got water on all the trees at the sports complex, and he's gonna get his water from the utility building, and Asher said he could get quarters from the city, because it's city trees that he could be watering, his time is free, so I think that's for him to be doing this for us.
And Beth Howie, Milko, Beth Howie informed me that it will be free.
It'll be free, okay?
Yeah,
Well,
the
that's-
utilities are gonna take care of it.
That's good.
Yes.
Thank
Okay,
you to
that
them.
sounds good.
Yeah.
And then, we finally got a stable police department after raising the wages. This needs to be done with outside city workers. We lost Pope, Martinson, and Barnhouse, mainly because of low wages. Stuart doesn't have the staff like most towns near us to take care of a lot of our work. Greenfield has 5 outside workers, plus a summer help, for 30 to 40 hours, June, July, and August. If we had one more person, that's 2,080 hours, extra help a year. 2 people would be 4,160 hours. 3 people would be 6,240 hours. People are starting to take down their own trees because we're not getting them taken down in time. I'm getting numerous complaints that the trees aren't getting taken down. The lines uptown for parking the crosswalks aren't getting taken care of. I don't blame Jim and Corey one bit on this. We truly don't have enough to get these things done. We keep paying these low wages and expect to have a person come in and stay with us. I think until we get a new person hired, we should subcontract some of this work out. I talked with different towns around today, and they said, yes, they definitely sub out some of the tree removal, especially the big stuff. Ash told me, what do we have, $577 from, like when Martin's had worked per week, that he's not working out. Take that extra money and get somebody to contract this work out. Because Jim and Corey cannot keep up the pace they're doing and have any sanity until, like I say, until we get a full-time person hired, we've got to sub out some of this work.
Dick, didn't we talk about getting getting a list of all the trees so that we could look at bidding it out? I thought we talked about this last month.
They have a list of city hall.
I say you have this, Jim.
Yeah,
Yes,
so I
sir.
thought
Let's
we
get
were
a
going
quote.
to start getting these bids. Dick, the other thing is you can't keep Jim working if he's constantly driving for the ambulance. Are you there, Dick? Yeah, Jim's driving at least at a minimum 2 days a week for the ambulance. So that's time he's having to take away from his job to go do that. So I don't think it's just a public works thing. I think it's an overall, we need to start looking more at things and how we're going to fix them.
Yeah. But I talked to different towns around. I know that Panora got most of the trees taken down, but I know Panora said they sub part of their work out too. And like I said, if we got $500+ that we don't have labor from Martinson when he quit, well, he utilized that money for contract labor. And a few years ago, we subbed out all our lines uptown getting painted. I mean, Jim and Corey can only work so much comp time and it wears them out. So something has to be done
Hey,
to help these two.
Dick, I got a question for Jim. All those trees, is that something you would need half of them done or 3/4 or what do you?
We had them classified as in poor, fair, and good condition.
Right.
We have the majority of all of the poor ones removed already,
All the poor ones are.
and we've started on the fair ones. So like the fair ones would be a this year thing, the good ones would be a next year thing.
Approximately how many fair ones do you think you have?
You know, I don't have that list with me, but I would guess.
I don't remember.
50 to 60?
Maybe.
So if at our next meeting, we were able to put this on there, if we subcontract to get those, just take those out so you guys don't have to do them. Is that something, or would you not want them all?
Just gotta figure out where you're gonna fund it from.
Right, so.
But you would think just to do the fair ones,
just essentially buying some time, right? You guys some time for a year. Cause you're gonna do them this year, right?
That's the game plan.
Cause the good ones
To be
would
honest
be,
with you, I've spent 100 hours between Corey and I at the swimming pool this spring.
same with painting the lines. I mean, that would also fall on you to get.
I have the paint setting there. I've been trying to get the pool online before I go do that.
So I think the question would be, what do you think
I think
we
if we had-
should hire out or
guy-
seek bids for?
I'm saying, if we had another guy, we could do a lot more of these trees. Cause Jim could be doing other stuff, and me and another guy could be doing trees.
But
It's
at
the
this
way we
point,
had- it's the way we had it when we had 3.
right, but I think at this point, we can look at maybe, I mean, when we first started talking about this project, I wanted to bid some of this out because it's easier for you guys to get way more done other things when we can bid it out and somebody can knock all these trees probably out in a week. And then it's just done. And we don't have to worry about it.
And it's gonna take longer than a week to do all
Well, I'm
that.
just,
But yeah,
Is the trees more of a pressing thing than something else? Should we be focusing, if we're gonna hire one thing out or 2 things out, is it the trees? Like, is there other things that's
That
gonna
would
be
be the
better?
bulk, that would be the bulk of it.
Okay.
I feel, and I agree with hiring this stuff out and getting caught up. I totally agree with that, but I think that's just a Band-Aid. I think with the town growing, we're gonna need another person.
oh yeah.
This town is just, so we need to look at that too. Do we need to up the wages to get somebody in here, somebody good? But then if you do that, you're pretty close to where Corey's at. So
We'd have to do a wage study, I'm sure, that.
we would have to do something.
We'd have to look at, surrounding communities and similar
I
sizes.
mean,
I
it's
get
gonna
what you're
be
saying. I think you're essentially saying, like, if we hire someone for more money, we're gonna have to bump.
both of them.
Yeah, they'll do a job.
Yeah,
We're not gonna
it's
hire
gonna be-
someone that's gonna bump.
It's gonna be a thing like the cops. I don't wanna rush it and push it through like we did the cops. Because that was a very huge increase very quickly without being able to think
Sure.
about it. So I'd like to not in a week have this done. Like, can we start,
so I'm saying, I can tell you, I could have went to Fontanelle and started day one, $4 an hour more.
right, so I mean, between now and our next meeting, we can start brainstorming and Ash can maybe come up with some ideas on
Are we gonna?
something.
Are we still looking for a guy right now? Are we advertising?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
we just can't find anyone because of the
Okay.
wage.
I made contact with 2 of the applicants that we had. Same thing, either one of them would consider it for the wage.
And is it permanent part-time and the wage, or is it just the wage?
The wage,
Just
Okay,
the
so the
wage.
permanent part-time doesn't have anything to do with it.
no. Because we
So
were
how
basically
much-
just we were gonna leave them at permanent part-time through the probationary period,
Mhm.
then
And then
Roll
bump them
them
up
to
to
full-time.
And a
Okay.
full-time with
Yes.
benefits after that 90 days.
Okay, to get things going right now, we advertise, we have a 17, 18, make it 20. Okay, because that's still not coming close to Cooley.
yeah,
And
that's,
then-
that's
50
very
cents,
close.
that's 40 cents difference to me, Ash.
What I mean is to get somebody, and then we can study the situation with Cooley and Jim, and.
I kind of like what Christine's saying. Let's not rush into it.
Okay, good.
It's a good idea, Ash. Don't get me
No,
wrong.
I
I
was-
get, I get what you say. We want to get somebody right away, but let's really think it through. So we're not doing like $20 here and then we're having to do these guys. Let's just do it all at once.
That's fine.
Okay.
And I'm not saying push this off, I'm
I-
like, our next council meeting, we can get it on there, we can start brainstorming between now and then.
Sure.
So we have two issues to conquer. That, getting bids for,
Okay.
Trees, yeah.
yeah.
And I would like to see something done with these drivers. I don't know,
I will meet with
With
the
what?
rescue, and I'll meet with Jim too, because I thought we got that taken care of.
What's that?
That.
the
driving-
driver situation, if we had the
Oh,
driver
yeah.
situation taken care of, Jim would still not be working 2 days a week and everybody else covering, that's,
How many calls are you covering in those couple days?
You know, I can go days that have none, and then some days I might have 3.
No, sure. Yeah.
You know, it just varies.
Okay, I'm gonna sit with you and probably this week, to gonna get to the bottom.
with both Sean and Luke and
Yes,
just to
That's
brainstorm some ideas.
Still on the tree topic.
Okay.
So is your instruction to go ahead and take the fair trees?
That's what you're planning on doing this year, right?
Yes.
I
And
think we
make
go with that.
and make a list and submit it to my tree contractors.
I mean, I asked for that last month.
Well, we can't say that, right? We can't take any action on it, right? Can we do that? Can we have him put that and submit? Or do we have to do it in an actual meeting? Because this is like public forum. It's not on the
We
agenda.
can put it on the agenda next meeting and.
But
I think
he-
just for.
But he can get his list together.
Yeah,
Right,
So
he
that
has
way
a
we
list.
have a list
That's
on
what
our
I'm saying.
council
We'll
meeting.
have to make the list.
But don't submit it to a contractor yet.
We'll give you the list to look at it before the meeting, and then when we meet, we can combine together with the decision, whether to bid it out or not. And then we'll be figuring out the hiring and all this.
All right.
Do it a couple ways, would you, Jim? Do what, like the fair ones, and do what the total
The whole.
is. Yeah, so we have different options.
Can we do that like we do these alternates? Where we can we do the trees like that where you can bid a base and then bid all together
Maybe.
as an alternate, just to see numbers come in at? I don't know if that works, but I like
Most
that.
of these guys are gonna look at each tree and that's how it's gonna be bid is by
Right.
that tree.
But I would
Same.
like to see the whole scope, like, you know,
Yeah.
the whole list is 50,000 but a partial list is 20,000. I mean, that's not real numbers, but, you know.
We can look at it anyway.
Actually, I have one thing.
And then
Yes.
Jim, if you have any recommendations for wages, you know, Chief Rehab brought us something. So if you have any input on what you'd like to see, that can be a starting point or something with Ash.
Mike and so.
That requires time.
So I don't know if anybody's talked to you, Jim. A lot of the people on the fire department have noticed that the helipad needs painting.
That's
And
on
we
the
don't
list,
want-
that's on the list as well.
Well, we were talking and some of the guys would like to volunteer their help if they can go out and paint. So we didn't know, do you have paint for that?
I don't have any white
Okay,
yet. I've gotta get the yellow painted first before I worry about the white,
okay.
but,
So is that something?
I will
that-
have bulk white, yeah.
Okay, is that something that some of the guys from the fire department could help out, that take
Yep.
that, you get that off your plate?
Yep.
And stuff, so maybe at one of the meetings and stuff, we could
We got training Wednesday, we can discuss it.
get together on that, because it definitely needs it, and one less thing for you, so.
Thank you for volunteering.
Okay.
This one passes.
Okay, I guess we
I'll bring
came
it
to the
back.
conclusion that we're done.
No, Matt's
Oh.
Oh,
Mr. Funk.
No, I wanna take this opportunity, since we brought up about, rescue drivers and stuff of that nature. Volunteerism for fire and rescue. It's not just Stuart. So I believe Stuart has felt it the least, the last. Other communities have been suffering way longer. We are really feeling it here. I want to thank Ash and Josh that got together. We got the swimming pool as a little bit of an incentive for some firemen. But I want to add that rescue is asking a lot of the firefighters to be drivers. And we love our rescue too as well. We like supporting them, but not just me, but I know that others. Our community has grown and our population is aging, and we get a lot of calls. It's not where, okay, I'll volunteer to be your driver, put me on call for 12 hours or 24 hours, and maybe I'll get called out, which granted, some days it is nothing. But then there's other days you're called out 3 times a day within a 24-hour shift, and it's very hard to plan. A lot of us in the smaller community, we've still got some old-fashioned kind of traditions. We're all married and have families, and it's very hard to be a part of the fire department and the rescue and volunteering your time. And then if you have that one day, you're on 3 calls. And now all of a sudden, that spouse that was loving the fact that you're helping out the community is all of a sudden aggravated, a little bit irritable. And it really makes it hard to plan anything. Okay, yeah, I'm on call, but am I gonna get nothing today? Or am I gonna get called out for 6 hours a day. So I don't know if there's other incentives that can be done, or what we can do, I don't know. Just think about it.
Well, I think a lot of it is we're using them so often, where it used to be, just second out calls. Like last night, we had a second out call and, they paged fire for an extra driver. That's, okay, you have 2 ambulances out, but when you're constantly paging fire out for a driver on a first out ambulance, and people are getting burnt out because it's over and over and over and.
And that's the hard part is that now if you are on call and you've signed up for a shift, you better plan, you're not gonna be doing anything with your family, period. I mean, that's just the way it is. You have said, I'm gonna give my time for this, I am available, I can't do anything, sorry. It is those random ones, for the first out that gets tough, so. But I think, Anshed, you're gonna talk with the EMS director,
Yes.
and you guys are gonna get it squared away.
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe you can talk to the fire chief and see if there's, more ways we can send out more incentives to have more people help out.
Yes.
Yeah, the
I am
fire.
gonna take care of it.
And rescue as well. Also, while I'm up here, I want to thank my fellow volunteers that have been on the fire and rescue with me. And I'd like to really thank Jim, who's been on how many years? You care to say?
39.
39 years. And thank you, and please tell your wife, Ronnie, thank you as well, because she's put up with it for almost 40 years. And so not just Jim.
She's one of those irritable ones too.
So,
Thank you, Matt.
but thank you guys, and thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Perfect.
We all good?
Yep.
All right. Meeting adjourned.
Okay, Mayor Broke was done.
You're in charge.
Jim's
Back to
done.
Ron's.